So I'm thinking about what is story, conceptually, and I haven't really been. I've been aware yet not aware of this thing of like because I've been thinking, okay, a story tells us who we are. Memory is poetry. I've been having these sorts of thoughts, but at the same time, um, I think the nature of story is different than it was in the past. In the past, people just watched, cowboy flicks and were like, "Oh yeah, I'm a cowboy. I'm gonna go fight in Vietnam and be like John Wayne." Some people actually thought that way, right? Like in U.S. and everywhere. I think you can see um, this human nature with the story to put yourself as the hero, as the main character. The main character is you. It's a vehicle for you to experience some other reality. But you really identify with that. That would be like the old way. Now I think there's new. First of all, that's really boring now. I think. um, I don't know. TV and media is much more relevant than it used to be, like a century ago. Um, but I think we're in this time. This is sort of like a postmodern thing. I think where we as people, it's not so much about the text as the subtext. It's not so much about the events as the meta, the conversation about the conversation. What's happening sort of around it. There's a lot of ancillary things now that are really important when it comes to story. So I think maybe now story can be a little bit more. One thing I keep coming back to is subconscious, free association. And so story can be a vehicle to explore the subconscious. And, this isn't totally new, but I think for me it's significant to look at art and our media and to have this feeling about it. And I think it's not entirely crystallized, or I haven't known it in this crystallized way. I'm also thinking about what's next and what I'm doing. And not to say, oh, I'm on the cutting, bleeding edge, but I'm doing something different. And I'm thinking about what I'm doing that's different because the thing that struck me the most is I feel the power of this Manazar story, and my execution of it is fair and whatever. I mean, I'm making it alone, but I'm considering why am I feeling this power to it, and maybe it's completely individual, but because you as the person aren't Manazar. You're not watching someone that's like you. Perhaps you'd like to be like Manazar, but he's not a vehicle for you to look at and say, "Oh yeah, I'm like that," or "I've had this experience," or "I want to experience this." It's not really even a superhero story. Or sorry, it's not a Superman fantasy, power fantasy that much. So this idea of because the power fantasy, a lot more power fantasy material has been coming out over time, and but at the same time, it's not altogether power fantasy. Like I heard that criticism of He-Man, or the Masters of the Universe movie. But it was funny because when I watched it, it was actually it was one of the like these evangelical Gnostic movies. They're sort of evangelizing in the name of Gnosticism, of Luciferian Gnosticism. And really, actually, it really resonated with me. The first third or half of the movie that I actually saw. I'd have to watch the rest of it to make comment, but so I think that this is one thing that Hollywood has done that's a step further than cowboy flicks, monster flicks, whatever. Is that the new Hollywood movies are using stories as kind of just a dress up for their Gnostic ideology. And I think that's kind of cool in a way because it means you can watch TV and learn a lot while you're watching TV. You can look at the you can look at the subliminal signals and the subliminal messages and the symbols, and yeah, you can learn a lot of information. You can kind of watch like almost 3 movies at once worth of information from just one movie. I find that fun. I actually kind of like that. I don't I don't like the system, but I have to top my hat to just how concise and kind of effective it is. I can watch it and I can know, and as a piece of art, it's spiritual. It's not just, you know. So it's a little bit loaded too, because let's take Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe is something very spiritual as well. Okay, do they take the material at what it truly is spiritually? No. It's just their vehicle for Gnostic evangelism. So, you know, I think my point is, what if we just have the material, we take material and we take it somewhere, and it just goes where it will. And so it almost acts as a theater of something subconscious, but I'm not necessarily going to define what that subconscious thing is, and then that play can be useful for this kind of exploration. So that the art can be more spiritual, but that spirituality isn't, you know, you need to be saved by Jesus, or, you know, we're all the same. You know, it doesn't have to have an ideology behind it, because the truth of spirituality is totally mysterious. It's totally beyond. So I think I'm gonna have to flesh this out more for myself. But another thing that came to mind is because with my posts on Facebook, I've started to get more into the mentality